Grand Risings! Cameron, you've made it to the next day. Congratulations on your mission in life. So, yesterday, you talked with your broker. You guys came up with a good solution on how you were going to present the next steps of this process, this purchase process to your buyer, to your seller. You guys went over the amount of repairs in the home and everything that it looked like. We came up with a number, $10,000. And we also came up with the realization that the seller is not going to grant us $10,000, but that is what we're going to ask for. Because if they had the full amount to do all of the repairs, they would have done the repairs. But they don't have the full amount. So they're going to grant us something less than the full amount. So, so you worked that out, got on the phone with the seller, the listing agent anyways. And like, hey, look, we need to do an extension. The last day is today. He said, no, we're not gonna really do an extension because we got all this other interest, maybe. And we wanna keep it closed and get it closed on whenever we get it closed on next week. It's supposed to close on Thursday. I'm like, well, we need more time so we can work out this thing with these repairs and what you guys are gonna offer us and stuff like that. He's like, well, we could figure it out tomorrow. So he wasn't being cooperative for that reason, because we do need more time, because the whole, we'll cut you a check or we'll do some credit you something that closing costs requires us to know how much and then what specifically for, which is gonna take some little bit of back and forth. So I was like, look, we'll extend until Thursday for the buyer's right to terminate to be over. And he's like, well, my guy didn't want to even do it the first time. Like, but he did. So can you ask him if he'll do it this time? Because, actions speak louder than words. So that's what we're working with here. And so then I call up that's him. So, he's kind of, it's getting rocky over there with the seller listing agent. Then I call up my buyer and I'm like, look, yeah, we can, I went through the list. This is the list of things that needs to be done. My broker and I, we came up with some numbers. We're going to run by him. But the first thing we're going to do is tell him to make the repairs himself. That way, you don't have to spend the money, because he's not going to give us all the money for us to do the repairs, because if he did, he would have done them himself. So that just means he doesn't have the money. So then he was like, okay, so this is what we need to include on the list. The water heater installation, all that type of stuff. I was like, yeah, I got that. I got the list here because you sent me the inspection report. And the number we came up with was $10,000 to do these repairs. And he was saying, Ken, that's not enough money. That's not enough money to do the repairs. Man, I call my cousin. He does this. He installs water heaters. It'll be $2,000. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine by me, but they're not going to give us all the money, and it doesn't necessarily cost that much. The money is because they're not going to do the repairs. So he was like, well, that's not enough money to do the repairs. That's not enough. So it just, at that point, he's like, Cameron, I feel like I'm debating with you on this, which really shouldn't be that way at all, because it's not a debate. I asked him, I was like, what is your experience doing repairs to homes or anything like that? And he was like, well, my cousin does this, and I used to work at Home Depot. I was like, okay, so virtually none. I also used to work at Home Depot. You're not gonna learn what it costs for labor until you've done it and actually spent the money yourself. So like, just for future reference, remember this, like, you're experienced. You have renovated 8+ units, homes that people live in, 8+ homes that people live in. You currently own 5 units. Your broker owns 6 units. You're doing a renovation right now on a house. Who's qualified to, you know what I'm saying? Like, who has the experience and the history to know what it would cost? You and your broker, or the guy who has never owned a home? That's beside the point, because that's ego. The point is that he was wishy-washy before when he was listening to his dad tell him it was going to cost $20,000, and now that we came up with a reasonable number, which is $10,000, he's still wishy-washy because it's not what his dad was saying. But his dad doesn't know what he's talking about either. So when you got people in your corner who don't have the experience or the expertise or the history, and you're listening to them, you make poor decisions. So when I said, he was like, Mom, I feel like I'm debating with you over this and that and what it would cost to get, like, how much to ask for. I said, well, first, he's like, because first he was like, and now, like, is it, at first they're going to either cut us the check or they're going to credit us. Now they're going to do the repairs. Which is it? And I'm telling him, I'm saying, we're in the middle of the negotiations. That's the conversation right now. First, we're going to ask them to do the repairs. If they don't want to do the repairs, or they don't want to do enough of them or all of them, we'll ask for the money instead, so we can get the money from them and you can do the repairs after you move into the home. Make most of the repairs yourself. So that was, you know what? That was something that went over his head. I maybe explained it not simply enough, but it went over his head. And, for those reasons, he was like, well, man, I'm just, I'd rather just get my money back. I'm feeling like not motivated to buy this place, and I kind of just want to get my money back. And I was like, well, all right. But like I said before, you got to be willing to walk away. But it's also been interesting throughout this entire process is that, like, for someone who's never bought a house, when I was telling him to, like, send in his money to the listing attorney, to the closing attorneys, he just sent me a message. He was like, man, Cameron, I feel like someone is trying to finesse me out of my money through paperwork. And when he said that, I was so confused, because I was like, wait a minute. You reached out to me to help you buy a house. This is the closing attorney. You have their contact information, their address, their email, and you feel like someone is trying to steal your money through paperwork? Did you read the paperwork? Did you ask somebody else for another opinion? Did you Google online what this process is supposed to be like? Someone's trying to, the attorneys, the lawyers are trying to steal your money? Come on, man. Like, so skeptic 101, like, super skeptic. And then his dad is basically not helping, because he doesn't even have the knowledge. He doesn't have the knowledge. So, before, when I've done these deals, I've thought, like, man, maybe I should have tried something harder or tried to work harder. But it's like, no, sometimes people just don't have the capacity. And that's why they don't own the things that they say they want to own, because they haven't made room to build in the capacity. So for him, he would have to listen to people who don't have the experience less, and listen to professionals and get professional advice more. Like, because, for instance, when I was saying to him, oh, you feel like we're arguing because we can't agree on this number of what it would cost to do all these repairs, that's fine. You can just go get a contractor, independent third party, and have him give you a quote on what it would cost him. He didn't even that didn't even register, didn't even respond. He just moved on to the next thing. And then when I said to him, I was like, yeah, so the roof, the soffit, the fascia, the gutters and downspouts, all that is covered by the HOA. He said, what? I don't believe that. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, you mean like, who said like when people say stuff like that, that just means like at that point they've already reached their capacity, because like that's just what it is. Like it's like he's like, oh, they need to pay me money for that. I'm like, that stuff is the HOA's responsibility. I don't believe that. Okay, well, I can't that doesn't mean it's not true. Just call the HOA. You got their phone number. It's on the paperwork you signed. So, at that point, it's just like this person is just not ready to buy a home. I mean, I think I should terminate even if the seller comes back and says, that they'll agree to fix this, and that, but they won't do an extension. It's like, man, better to spend my time working with clients who are more willing. Because at the end of that call, I asked him, I was like, Mr. Buyer, do you think I would lie to you? Well, Cameron, it doesn't matter whether or not you would lie to me. I'm just feeling like I'm not interested in buying it right now because of the back and forth and negotiations and the them not wanting to give us extra days. And so it's like all of those things are just, well, the first one is it wouldn't matter whether or not I was lying to you. Okay, that's not that's the wrong answer. When I say, do you think I will lie to you? The answer should be no. No, I know I wouldn't lie to you. So if he thinks it wouldn't matter back and forth, then he doesn't see me as someone who's actually trying to help him or assist him or has got his best interest. I'm just like just kind of like somebody on like a voice, but not an important voice. So at that point, it's just like, get somebody else who you do trust to do this for you, because clearly these other people you trust, they're the professionals. They got their license, and no, they don't. I'm the professional, but if you don't trust me, I can't help you. So people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Simple as that. And when I looked up the trust, this is what I think. This is what I found. Honest, dependable, strength, character. I'm dependable, I'm honest, I'm strong, I have character. So, yeah, I'm gonna just write the termination letter. And he was like, well, you tried your best, I tried my best, I put in an effort to this, and you put in effort to this. So it just didn't work out this time. It's like, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's what happened. I probably should tell him, well, do I need to tell him that to get to work with somebody else if he doesn't trust me? No, I don't need to tell somebody that, because if they do, they'll just come back and work with me. If they don't trust me, they'll go find somebody else to work with. I mean, that's self-explanatory. I don't have to ask somebody that. But for him to say, I don't believe you, I got to lie for it. I don't own a condo. You don't either. So I just send him a letter and call it a day, and get to work on my other project management project with the house I'm actually flipping right now. Like, talk about what experience do you have? Man, I'm flipping a house right now. I don't know. I'm mad about that because that stuff is just like, you wonder why some people don't have certain things. This is why. And if someone could show me these same areas why I don't have the things I want, I would definitely listen to them. I would try to listen. Or at least make me see reason or something. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do the termination letter, work on my project management project, and study up on some stocks. Yeah. All right. Farewell. If you guys like this video, this is real life real estate sales. Not every deal closes. Yeah. So, because people, just like I said in the story, the listing agent was getting rocky. The buyer was getting rocky. I'm trying to bring them together, and they're both rocky. So just kind of dissonance. People aren't listening. So it is what it is. All right, I will, if you guys like this video, this experience of mine, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this with some of your other real estate friends or some of your other people who are trying to buy some real estate. Because, hey, it's real life experience, man. So he's not going to be buying anything anytime soon. Or at least I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's out of my control. Like many things in these contracts. But the things that are in my control, I'm going to control them. That's the operations. So, all right. Very well.